I've been trying to start this video multiple times, but piece I'm using to hold my camera there, so I don't have to hold my camera anymore. And then this one over here, I've had to start this multiple times, and I'm sorry, but here we go. Apparently my video about moving to Wyoming got a lot of hits, and some people have commented and asked me certain questions. I'm going to try and answer these the best that I can. One thing you have to learn about being in Wyoming is there's multiple climates, and those climates depend on what time of the year you come here, whether it's summer, fall, winter, or spring. Like for example, during the summer, it can get up to 95 with about 30% humidity or higher during the day. During the night, it can fall around 60 or lower. Now, if you're in the mountains, that number can drop to 40 or below. It could be also if you go near a lake. Now, winter gets cold here, very cold. There are parts in Wyoming that can get below in the negatives. I'm talking like negative 20, negative 30. The road conditions can become very horrible because it gets very icy. And then if you're traveling in between towns, you also have to deal with high winds. Sometimes these winds can be a measly 5 miles an hour, and some can gust up to 40 miles an hour. It just depends on what location and where you're going to. Speaking of snow, we get a lot here. In Wyoming, we can get around 60 inches of snow in a year. Now, I don't know what part of that you're coming from, whether you get a lot more snow or less snow. I'm from Arizona, so we didn't get a whole lot of snow. Be prepared for that. So you will need to be wearing some serious snow gear. My kids have to dress snowsuits, snow coats, snow boots, gloves, you name it. You're gonna need the gear. Spring and fall are almost the same. With spring, it warms up from winter, so it's still cold, but we get rain. And then with fall, the temperatures are dropping from summer, so it's cold and it rains. Now, I've talked about this before, about the cost of living here in Wyoming. There's lots of clean air. There's a lot of interesting areas to visit here in Wyoming. But if you're going to be living here, know that healthcare is high. It is. You'll have to do research on it. I don't know what plan you guys do, but you'll have to look into it. But from what I'm reading, apparently housing is lower than, the rest of the U.S. Now, once again, this all depends on where you live. Where I currently live, I live in a 4-bedroom townhouse for less than $1,000 a month. In fact, actually less than $900 a month. My utilities are they're under $200. Where I know is in Arizona during the summer, you go over $300. For my family of 5, 3 of them being kids, an 11-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. My grocery bill is about $400 to $600 a month, which is considerably not bad. Keep this in mind that you are moving to a place that has snow, so make sure you keep up on your vehicle, keep up the maintenance. You're going to need tires for snow, and in gas, that's all going to depend on where you're going, how many times you're going, how far you're going, so forth and so on. Honestly, not much different than when you move to any other part of the U.S. Sheridan just recently obtained a bus route. They bought these buses, almost like shuttle buses you see at an airport. Currently, they're free. You can use them to get all around town. There are certain places that they will end up charging you some money, so look into that, call them up. But if you have no other way of getting around town, especially if you rely on a bike and it's snowing out, this can give you another option. I will post a link to the map of the route in my description. If you live here in Sheridan, all you have to do is look around for the flags that says bus stop on it. Now, one thing you have to learn about Wyoming, there are low to no taxes here in Wyoming. Wyoming's property taxes, I guess, are some of the lowest in the nation. They're about 0.62%. I don't know about that because I've never had to own a house, so I don't know. The cost of most of the houses are around $200,000 to $250,000. Also, there is no income tax. Did not know that. On top of which, I did mention this in my last video, there is no tax on food. Whatever price tag you see on a grocery, like bananas 99 cents, you will pay for that 99 cents. There is no tax, which is really great if you have a big family. Now, something I should have tackled the last time I made a video, job. That can vary quite a bit. It would depend on what you're looking for work, what you can do for work, especially if you have no experience or you have a ton of experience, what time of the year you come here. These things can matter greatly when you're trying to find work here in Wyoming, virtually when you're trying to move to another state in general. Best time I would say it'd be around late spring to about late September here, especially here in Sheridan. October through March, a lot of businesses start to slow down a lot. They'll even start sending people home because the labor cost is through the roof. If you don't know what that is, look it up on Google. Winter for most of Wyoming, generally when business slows down. A lot of the tourist attractions don't get much business, so they might shut down. But yeah, generally April through September is the time you want to come here and look for work. Now, if you're looking as to what's hiring for a career, what's best to get here, the most I've seen look is jobs in the medical field, jobs, work, or building industries. So if you have a license in that, you have a better shot at getting work here. What I mean by builders is like, it's not just builders, it's like drillers, welders, machine operators, those types of work. During the time frame I said, about April and September, that's about the only time you're going to find construction work here. During winter, construction is almost non-existent. Now, if you don't have, any of this stuff in your background, or if you're someone who's leaving the state with no job experience, come during April to September, the most you're going to find is stuff in the food industry or labor work. And labor work can be maintenance positions, housekeeping, those sorts of things. But if you do have a registered license in a particular field, you have a very high chance of finding work here because people really like those who have experience versus those who don't. And finally, from the police force here, it is strongly suggested that you change your driver's license and license plate to Wyoming after 90 days of stay here. If you're not going to stay here the whole 90 days, don't worry about it. But if you're going to be a permanent resident, after 90 days, police will stop you here, be on your butt about, hey, you got to change your license and you got to change your license plate. Just a thing here. And that's my video for you guys. I hope it was helpful. I know some of the stuff I've probably repeated before, but maybe some of those questions were answered. I'll have a new video up here soon about the kids going trick-or-treating here in town with a little drive through town. Stay tuned and see you later.